Operation Fast and Furious, a risky plan. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, or ATF, launched Operation Fast and Furious in 2009. This operation was one of the most ambitious and controversial undertakings in the agency's history. The goal? To stop powerful Mexican drug cartels that were wreaking havoc on both sides of the border. These cartels were responsible for countless deaths and widespread violence. The plan? Allow suspected gun smugglers to buy weapons illegally, with the hope that these firearms would lead them to the higher-ups in the cartel hierarchy. ATF agents believed they could then track these weapons, dismantle smuggling rings, and make big arrests. They envisioned a domino effect, where one arrest would lead to another, eventually toppling entire networks. The operation focused on Arizona, a known smuggling route into Mexico. This state was a hotbed for illegal activities, making it the perfect ground for such an operation. The ATF used a controversial tactic known as gun walking, essentially letting guns fall into the wrong hands on purpose. This method was risky and had many critics. They hoped to follow these guns to cartel leaders, but things didn't go as planned. The operation faced numerous challenges, and many of the weapons disappeared, ending up in the hands of criminals. The fallout from Operation Fast and Furious was significant, leading to intense scrutiny and debate over the methods used by law enforcement. Gunwalking is a risky strategy. It involves letting suspected criminals buy guns illegally, hoping to track the weapons later. Critics argued this tactic was dangerous and reckless. They worried about innocent people getting caught in the crossfire. Despite the risks, the ATF pushed forward with Operation Fast and Furious. From 2009 to 2011, they allowed over 2,000 firearms to walk across the border. The ATF lost track of hundreds of these weapons. Operation Fast and Furious quickly unraveled. The ATF couldn't track all the weapons. Many guns disappeared into the criminal underworld. Tragically, some of these walked firearms were later connected to violent crimes on both sides of the border. In December 2010, U.S. Border Patrol agent Brian Terry was killed in Arizona. 2 walked guns from Operation Fast and Furious were found at the crime scene. This tragedy sparked outrage and brought intense scrutiny to the operation. Section 4. Outrage and Investigations, Uncovering the Truth. This section delves into the intense scrutiny and public outcry that followed the exposure of a controversial operation. The tragic death of Agent Terry was a pivotal moment that brought Operation Fast and Furious into the public eye, sparking widespread concern and anger. Media outlets launched in-depth investigations, while politicians from both sides of the aisle demanded clear and immediate answers. The public, fueled by media reports, demanded accountability and transparency from those in power. Congressional hearings were convened to thoroughly investigate the operation, uncovering numerous failures and missteps. These investigations revealed a deeply flawed law enforcement operation, riddled with significant oversights. The ATF had disastrously lost track of hundreds of weapons, which ended up in the hands of criminals. There was a glaring lack of oversight and accountability within the operation, raising serious questions about law enforcement practices. Initially, the Justice Department denied any wrongdoing, attempting to deflect blame and minimize the fallout. However, under mounting pressure, they later admitted to serious errors in judgment, acknowledging the operation's profound failures and the need for reform. Section 5. Fallout and Accountability, Heads' Role at the ATF. The fallout from Operation Fast and Furious was significant. Public trust in the ATF was shaken. The scandal led to a number of high-profile resignations, including the acting head of the ATF. Several ATF agents involved in the operation faced disciplinary action. However, no criminal charges were ever filed against any government officials. The lack of criminal accountability frustrated many who felt justice hadn't been served. Section 6. Lessons Learned, Preventing Future Mistakes. In this section, we delve into the critical lessons that have been learned from past errors and how they shape future policies. Operation Fast and Furious remains a controversial chapter in law enforcement history. This operation, intended to track illegal gun sales, instead highlighted significant flaws in execution and oversight. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of flawed tactics and the importance of oversight. The operation's failure underscored the need for meticulous planning and strategic execution in law enforcement activities. The scandal led to several policy changes within the ATF. These changes were aimed at tightening control and ensuring that such oversights do not occur again. The ATF implemented stricter controls on undercover operations. These new measures were designed to enhance the safety and effectiveness of such operations. They improved communication and information sharing. Enhanced protocols were established to ensure that critical information is disseminated promptly and accurately. The goal to prevent similar mistakes in the future. By learning from past errors, law enforcement agencies aim to build a more robust and reliable system. The legacy of Operation Fast and Furious is a reminder of the high cost of failed law enforcement strategies. It emphasizes the importance of continuous improvement and vigilance in policy enforcement.